is that first thing in the morning, when you take the horn out of the case, you do a little warm-up. Warm-ups vary for different people. Sometimes I'll do warm-up for 2 or 3 minutes. Sometimes I'll warm up for half an hour, 40 minutes. It depends on how you feel on that given day. Not lots of the time, but sometimes after I've played a big concert the night before, then I'll take my horn out the case the following morning and I'll play. And after my first note, I check down the horn to see if I've left any music down there, because it just doesn't feel right. It feels stuffy, and it's at that point where you have to warm up for a little bit longer. So what we'll do this morning, we'll go through some basic warm-ups. I won't do the same warm-up every day, because I think it gets a little bit boring if you do that. I don't mind if some people do the same every day, but for me, I like to mix it up a bit. And what I tend to do is think about what is it that I am trying to warm up. Well, the first thing is the lips, isn't it? Trying to get the lips nice and supple to get them ready to vibrate, to produce that sound. So the first thing I would do is play some low notes, something like this. Almost ticklish, so that the lips feel really sensitive. Let's all have a little go at that. It'll sound really quite bad because there's so many of us, but play me a low pedal B flat. If you don't play a pedal, just a normal one. And watch my hands. We'll just try and bring the note down using the lip and then back up. Okay? Here we go. Than anywhere else in the body, except one other place, but we won't go into that right now. But there's a lot of muscle there. So we need to warm these muscles up before we start playing. Because, like if you have a track athlete, if they just went out, I don't know, Usain Bolt or something, if he turned up for the 100 meters and just did a sprint straight away, the chances are he's going to pull a muscle, he's going to hurt himself. And this is why we warm up, because if we just start playing high notes and loud straight away, the chances are we'll pull one of these muscles. And we won't realise, it just won't sound quite as good, it won't feel quite as good. So we've got to go through these little warm-up things just to try and make sure everything's ready. Okay, so you've all got some, has everyone got some handouts? Let's see what we've got here. One of the other reasons I start with low notes is because low notes take a lot of air, and I'm sure you've been told this week that breathing is very important for brass players. You've got to be able to... Breathing governs everything. It governs a good sound, it governs how high you can play, it sorts out intonation. If you have good breathing, then you're halfway to being a good player. So with low notes, this is why I start with them, is when we were playing that exercise then, instinctively you were going... or because you have to breathe like that for a low note. So if you start low, then that can kind of help. Let's move on to, if I've got it here. Yeah, talking about breathing. Number 47. It's on one of these handouts that's got say 22 on one side and 21 on the other. And we're looking at exercise number 47. You haven't got any? Okay, the idea with this exercise is that we take a breath and we keep playing until we've run out of breath. Because it's very easy for a teacher to say to you, you must improve your breath control, you must improve your lung capacity, but it's very difficult to actually gauge whether you're doing that. So with this exercise number, what did I say, 47?
47.
Yeah, with this one, the idea is that you take a big breath and you stick to a real solid tempo and you just keep playing until you've run out of air. Then you mark, maybe the first time you do it, you can see on here actually there's already some dates written on. Whichever note you get to, you put today's date. You don't have to do this right now. But whichever note, and then the next time you practice this exercise, you're just trying to get 1 or 2 notes past. And then the next time, a few more notes past. And then you can actually visibly see whether your control and capacity is improving. So we'll start at quite a slow tempo. You've got to concentrate on taking a real good breath. And you just got to, you can't breathe. Once you've run out of air, put your instrument down and stop, okay? And let the people carry on who are still going. So it's going to be about this. 2, 3. Well done, we have a winner. Very good. So, where did you get to there?
Right about 12.
I've got it. Right. Do it one more time. This time you know what's required to take a much bigger breath. How can we make this breath go further? Well, there's 2 ways. First of all, we can play it softer. If you play a note this loud, it uses that much air. If you play it this loud, it uses that much air. So let's conserve the air by playing the notes quieter. Also, let's play the notes shorter. For notes this long, it uses that much air. If it's that long, it uses that much air. So quieter and shorter. It's about taking a good breath and keeping the breath going as far as you can. And again. 1, 2, 3. Don't give up. Keep going. Go on. You're almost there. Well done. Very good. It teaches you how to push yourself. Too many of us, when we're practicing in a room on our own, it gets difficult, the lip hurts, or we're running out of air, so we just stop. That's what you do. You're on your own, there's no pressure, just stop, do it again, whatever. When you're on a concert stage, you can't stop. When there's an audience up there who paid money to be there, you can't give up. The way that I practice is to try and imagine that audience is there, so don't give up. Always push yourself right as far as you can go, because if you get used to doing that in your practice or your warm-up, then when you come out onto the concert stage, it's not foreign to you, it's a natural thing to do. So it's only a very simple, we'll do that again tomorrow and we'll see if we can push it a bit further. But I saw lots of you, you've got their out breath around the instrument now. No, get every little last ounce of breath out. Because the human lungs, they can expand to 2.5 times their normal size. That's a huge capacity. And none of us use that capacity, so it means that there's always scope for us to improve. So that's what this exercise is about anyway. There's lots of other breathing exercises you can do. You can do things without the horns, where you're stood up just breathing in and out and all that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with that. If you want to do that, that's fine. But I actually like to keep the instrument on the face as much as I can, because that's what it is essentially that we're doing. What else were we warming up then when we did that exercise, other than your breathing? Who said tongue? Yeah, tongue. And who said fingers? Yeah, fingers as well. Just getting coordination with the tongue and the fingers. Very, very simple. There's another exercise which we don't have today, but we will have tomorrow. But there's some on the back. Turn that page over. So as well as the tongue and as well as the fingers, now what we're going to bring in is the embouchure, what I call agility, being able to move mixed intervals from one note to a low note to a high note in quick succession. And this page is a fantastic page for that. So we're coordinating the tongue with the fingers with shifts in embouchure. So let's try number 48. It's not too difficult, but it's so you're always going back to the low note and trying to centre the low note. Let's try it, all of us. 1, 2, 3, So you're just working at building up the speed. The next one is the same. Start nice and slow. So you start slow and you just build up the speed. You don't do that straight away, of course. It takes you maybe a couple of weeks, a couple of years, could be however long it takes. But there's one thing for sure with all these kind of warm-up things, that you've got to learn to do them slowly first. If you can't do them slowly, you'll never be able to do them quickly. So we start there, and day by day, we just build them up. So the reason I'm sharing these with you is because I think it makes a warm-up kind of more interesting. Rather than just doing the same thing, you're actually trying to improve your warm-up each day. And something like this is really quite good for the tongue. My favourite one, however, is the last one, number 50. Because this is octaves. You all know what octaves are, of course. So whatever pitch you play in the low register, you have to play the same pitch 1 octave above. So let's try this really slowly. Really slowly, so it'll be boom, beam, boom, beam, boom, beam. But really concentrate on the pitch and where you're adjusting from to get that high note. 1, 2, 3, Because you actually work in the muscles here. So when we did the pedal notes to begin with, we were working what's called the inner embouchure. That's the bit that vibrates inside the mouthpiece. When we do these kind of exercises and lip flexibilities, we're working the outer embouchure, the part around here. And gradually you can speed that kind of thing up. You can maybe incorporate slurs as well as tongue notes. So. So you're just messing around really, and I do this is what, I'm really showing you now what I do as my kind of warm-up, and I appreciate that for some of you it'll be a little advanced, but you can bring it down to a slower tempo, and it's warming up the same things, just in a slower fashion. But these are exactly the kind of things what I do. These exercises are from a book called The Arban. Do you know this book? Jean-Baptiste Arban. And that's the book that I mostly use. There's some other great books. Herbert Clark, Visuti. Well, there's hundreds of them these days, aren't there? But it doesn't really matter which book it is, as long as you work on the exercise in a proper manner. What's one aspect of a normal warm-up that I haven't mentioned yet?
Articulation.
Sorry?
Articulation.
Articulation. Well, when we've done all of these so far, we have been articulating without necessarily realizing it, haven't we? We've been warming up the tongue a little bit. So, yeah, you could say we haven't actually directly mentioned it, but we have been doing it. What else?
Long tones.
Sorry?
Long tones.
Who's speaking? Ah, there you go. You did that without moving your lips. Long tones. Yeah, absolutely. Long tones and simple flexibility, because you know, once you've learned all the fast notes and all moving from high notes to low notes really quickly, that's all very interesting, but it's not that important. The most important thing about being a euphonium player, or any musician on any instrument, is that you need to make a good sound. If you don't make a good sound, no one will want to listen to you. And so sound is the most important, and in my warm-up, I tend to do a few things where I just take a step back and I'm just listening to the sound that I'm producing, and I'm asking the question, am I happy with this sound? Are there impurities in the sound? If so, what can I do to get rid of them? And I'm just really concentrating on the sound that I'm producing. So yeah, sound's very important. And there's an exercise here. Do you have a sheet that's got staccato on the front? Turn that sheet over and there's some simple white notes. Yeah. So with this, we play it very slowly, and we're just listening for the sound. I do each, I tend to, there are 3-bar phrases, and I do each 3-bar phrase twice. The first time I slow, so I don't use the tongue at all, and the second time I articulate the notes, so I put a little break between them. Who said it was you, wasn't it? Who was talking about articulation, and it's a very good point. So the first time I go, no, just nice and smooth, no tongue at all. And the second time, but we're looking for nice attacks, not aggressive attacks. Okay? So let's try this. Mezzo piano, listen, I know it's difficult when there's so many people playing, but really concentrate on the sounds that you're producing. 1, 2, 3. Can we breathe in time? It's not a ensemble thing really, it's something I'm very used to. If I'm giving you 4 beats, because breathing is part of playing. Lots of people think that, you know, the music starts where the sound kicks in. For me, it starts where the breath is. The two are intrinsically linked. You know, like if you watched a golfer, I play a little bit of golf, but I'm not very good. But if you watched a golfer, the backswing is related to the attack of the ball. If you watch someone playing darts, when they throw the dart, they never go and then throw it. It's always it's in one. Snooker, billiards, it's the same thing. And as brass players, if we don't breathe properly and in time, then this kind of thing can develop. And you get this hard attack. So what I'd like you to think about is making the relationship between the breath and the attack. Imagine a pendulum on a grandfather's clock. You know what a grandfather's clock is?
Yes.
The pendulum is always in movement. It doesn't go stop, and it doesn't do this. It's so the breath is always part of the note. Never let tension build up here. So when I'm giving you 4 beats, you want to be thinking 1, 2, 3. So it's breathe and play. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Same thing. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
When you're on a long note and you try to diminuendo, the lips have to be flexible enough to come a little closer, and then when you crescendo, flexible enough to move apart again. So whenever I'm warming up with long tones, I try to vary the dynamic as much as I can. Strong and full and quiet and soft. It's like anything. So the best players can play extremely loud with a good sound and extremely soft with a good sound. And that doesn't happen by magic. They practice it. And lots of younger players, you get so taken back with the technique, learning how to make the fingers go fast and learning how to make the tongue go fast, and it gets better. But the one thing that doesn't get better is the dynamic range, and that's because we don't spend time practicing. So, and the reason we don't is because it's not that interesting, to be honest. So what I try to do is practice my dynamics within my warm-up. So when I'm warming up, I'm always trying to think of things that I want to improve about my playing. I'm not just taking the horn out the case and playing what my teachers told me to do whilst I'm thinking about what I want for lunch or whatever else. You don't just go through the motions of warming up. Think about why we're doing it, and think about trying to make it beneficial for you. Because as you get older, you won't have as much time to play. Your time will be a lot more precious. And when you take that horn out the case, you want to make sure that you're actually working. So have a little think about that for the warm-up. Tomorrow's warm-up, we'll do some more exercises, and I've got some other fun things to do. Have a look at these sheets. This is another good one. Well, it says here is an example of the range building warm-up. This is in bass clef, so a lot of you will be more comfortable with that. But again, it's very straightforward. But don't go through the motions. Don't go through the motions of just seeing, oh, it's white notes, they're easy. Dee-ah-dee. No, think about the sound, think about the journey from one note to the other, making it as smooth as possible, and try to make music with it all the time. If you do all of those, that'll take you about 12 minutes to do all of those at the correct tempo. Let's look at number 4, actually, on that page. Can you see here, number 4? Let's all have a go at this one. So we'll start with the valve combination is all 3 valves. There are 3 valve instruments, or second and fourth for the 4th valve instruments. And you can play all the notes on that valve combination. And we're just going to go quite slowly. Okay? No tongue though, it's all on the lip. 3 and 4. smooth as you can. 3 and 4. This side, 2 and 3 and good. Next valve combination. 3 and 4. So we're adding one note. Same vowels though. Here we go. This side of the room begin. 3 and. If you're going to yawn, put your hand over your mouth because I don't want to see what you had for breakfast, okay? If you're going to yawn, put your hand over your mouth because that was disgusting. And again, so we've got 4 notes now. 2, 3, 4. So you've got to have real control of what's going on. Here we go. All 1, 2, 3, 4. Blow for the high notes. this one with some low notes. We'll just play the first line together. It should look like this. So play with a good sound, mezzo forte, and then the idea of this exercise is for you to really concentrate on that diminuendo, retaining a good sound, retaining good intonation. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3. Mix it up as much as you can. Lower notes, good because they're not overexerting the muscles, but try to vary the articulations, try to vary the dynamics. And look after those sheets and we'll do some more tomorrow. And some of you need to get more sleep. There's far too much yawning going on. I've travelled from the UK last night. For me, I don't know what time it is now, but I'm not yawning, so neither should you. So get some more sleep if you need to get more sleep.